There you go.
All right, awesome. Okay, great. Well, I don't even know. I actually think we're probably more comfortable out here. We would have a little more circulation and get moving around, but we could have stayed in there because I think everybody stayed. So, good job. Congratulations, everybody. And, we will make this short and sweet and neat, but also very informative, okay? I'm going to have Mr. Kevin Brassell come up, and I mentioned him and when I was in there talking. He is the person that shared this with me for a year, and I ignored him, so each time that we do this, I always have to say I'm sorry. So we always get that out of the way each and every time. Sorry, I didn't listen for a year. But then I listened, right, and then I took action, so it more than made up for it, right? So we're all good now, with all water under the bridge. But Kevin is one of the top income earners in the whole company. He lives here in Bowling Green, lives right next door, and doing amazing things, helping tons of people. And like I said earlier, really what makes this business work, what makes this whole thing tick and the teamwork happen is really just wanting to help people. And we talk a lot about the monetary things and the bins and that, but without service to each and every person in the room, he wouldn't have the success that he's had. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to him. He's going to go through some of the packages, explain this to you. For anyone in the room who's first-time guest, I'm not sure if I'm in front of that or not, then you want to pay attention because it can help you make the right decision. Distributors in the room, take notes, pay attention to how he explains it so that you can help your team members and help other people understand it. Does that make sense? So take notes on that. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over for a few minutes to Mr. Kevin Brassell.
I'll look right into the camera. All right, thanks, Lori. I appreciate it. Guys, thank you. It's great to see everybody hanging out for training, especially new guys. So just real quick recap to what she said, but first I'll just add, we talk about Peak, Pass, Plug, and the Profit Participation Plan. So there's a lot of PPPs in this business, and we'll hit on some more PPPs, but so just a couple more I'd like to throw out. I'm going to talk about this on the Team Elite call tonight, so if you're serious about building business, you definitely want to plug into that. That's something that I don't miss, Lori doesn't miss. None of us miss if you're a leader. Every Sunday night we're listening to that call because that's all of us coming together like a family for that call to start the week together and here's some training and so on. Here's some recognition for your team and rank advancements. But the PPP I'm referring to is a pencil and a paper and the phone, a little bit of persistence, and then a little bit of patience. Lori. Because not everybody's going to listen to you right out of the gate. You know, you're just planting seeds for the future, and then people will come when the timing is right for them. That's why you have to move on. I didn't camp out when I planted the seed with Lori. I just shared it, and then I moved on and helped Brandon. I moved on and helped somebody else. Then eventually check back with Lori. It's like, are you ready yet? Are you ready? No. Are you ready? No. Are you ready yet? Finally, she was ready. So she's a rock star now, right? Give it up for Lori.
Yeah.
And Scott. These guys there's a lot of leadership here. I don't even know. I was trying to listen to them and think, what have they not covered? They covered everything. So, and that's beautiful for this business, right? It kind of shows you the end result. Once you build the business to a certain point, you've replaced yourself so many times over that it's almost like a franchise, that you're really not needed as much. So what you're doing is temporary. And I was on the phone with Chris Estes, who's made over $5 million, way over $5 million in this business in the last couple of years, or last 5 years. He's made closer to $8 million. I can't keep up with him. At this point, if you ask him how much he's making, he said, I'm making however much you think I am. And then add X.
Couple of zeros.
Yeah, because he's doing okay. And we've made over $1 million in the last 3 years, guys, just plugging away at this, helping people, doing it part-time along the way in life. But then we stumbled into enough success that about a year into it, my wife could stay home, and then shortly after I could stay home. So now we just have options. We have the time freedom, financial freedom, and the health freedom too, to serve others in better ways and to make better use of our time. So all that said, that's what Black Diamond means, I guess. It's just the options that come along with the opportunity. But we were also just okay with the failure that it took to get to the success, right? You have to just fail your way through the numbers to find a couple of people that's going to do this thing with you, partner with you, and build it together. So Lori covered this on the paper. You're holding the paper up, kind of pointing. Okay, so basically what I want to do is just show you. If I call the starter system the foot in the door package, right? You're just getting your feet wet. You can build a business, you can start getting paid after you enroll your first 2 people with the starter kit. Now, really, before all this, I always tell people about the preferred customer packs. You know, preferred customer packs is a variety of that depending on the product. $200 a pop. You can get somebody in, and as long as they place their initial order and they're on auto ship, they'll get the same wholesale cost that we do. Now, the preferred customer packs are good because you don't want everybody in your business. Trust me, Chad. You don't want everybody in your business. There's some negative Nancy's and pessimist Pete's out there that's just going to drag you down, and they just need to use the product, right? You know, they don't need to be hanging around all the time and dragging everybody else down. They're just product users, and that's okay. We need product users, but we don't need any, negative Nancy's. But so starter kit is the first step if you're wanting to build a business. But if you're serious, you don't want to leave any money on the table because, like she said, you got the 50% more team commissions for 3 months with the Builder 1 and for 6 months with the Builder 2. We've seen people miss out on $10,000 for settling with the Builder 1 where they would have made more in month 4, 5, and 6, and people make way over $15,000 in their month 4, 5, and 6 because they did start with the Builder System 2. But just real quick, hypothetical, say if you get started with the Builder System 2, odds are if you sample out 32 trial packs, you're going to find 2 Builder System 2 enrollments. More than likely more than that, but let's just say worst case scenario, you enroll 2 Builder System 2s. So it's just going through the numbers. 32 trial packs, and that's the only time you're really selling product here. I'm not Zija salesman, right? We just share it because you're going to have people like myself. I enrolled before I ever tasted the product. Jonathan McNabb never had to say, well, here, Kevin, I want you to try this first. No. So that's a training within itself. Sometimes don't put the product in front of the opportunity. You know, the product is so good it gets in the way of progress sometimes because we think, well, they need to taste it. No, they don't. You'll hear tonight on the call how an 18-year-old enrolled 18 Builder System 2s in his first 18 hours.
Wow.
By picking up that 5,000-pound pencil and putting it to that 10,000-pound paper and holding that 15,000-pound phone up to his ear and calling a few people. That's just the problem. Sometimes it just weighs so much and we're just afraid to call Pete. I'm afraid to call Lori. You just got to call him. And he did it. So he enrolled way more than 2 Builder 2s, but you enrolled 2. So just first order bonuses, team commissions, leadership check match, diamond pool. There's so many different ways. There's 10 plus different ways that we get paid in this business. Not just one, like typical employment. So one of them is first order bonuses. So $200 for 1 Builder System 2 enrollment, another $200 for the other first order bonus, a builder bonus, $150 every time you enroll 2 people in the same period. You get a builder bonus, and then your team commission for that week because you had 1,000 points. Okay, a Builder System 2 is worth 1,000 points. So say he had 1,000 points on that, both sides for those 2 enrollments. So 10% of that 1,000 points, $100, it's actually 15% because we started with the Builder System 2. So $150, total that up, and I'm just moving quick here. Total all that up for your commissions for the comp plan. You just made $650-ish, right? And then $800 for your 32 trial packs times 25. If you move them, and don't give it away. If you just hand it over, then somebody's going to just take advantage of it. It'll sit on the coffee table for weeks. Oh, I hadn't got around to take it yet. You were supposed to take it the next morning, right? If they pay for it, it's like, well, here's your trial pack, Mom. That'll be $25. Father, Mother, charge your friends, family, everybody. That way they had some value to it. And then boom, you've moved through that 800, 650. And then when you enroll your first 2 people, you hit Team 250. And that's where you get your first month's auto ship free. And that's worth $200-ish, just depending on what your auto ship is. So about $200 there, you've made $1,650. And this could be in your first hour, week, month, year, however fast you want it to be. It's different for everyone. It depends on your sense of urgency. $1,650 minus your initial investment of $1,320, you just got paid $330, right, to get started with the Builder System 2. If you just do the math, that's something we thought about it and looked at that, at one point and thought, man, that's a good way of explaining to help people understand how they can get into business for free. Y'all like free?
Free.
Yes.
Free 99.
You like that, Pete?
Mm-hmm.
So real quick, tell, I'm gonna write on myself, tell, Lori, why don't you join me up here real quick? Because I'm going to start writing on the board. Or we might just wing it here. Because I want to be brief. But I want to help a lot of you know how to get started, get off to a fast start. So I'll map out A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. But why don't you tell them how important, because in this business, again, we talked about the PPP, peak, pass, and plug. If you want to be in the profit participation pool, and they might have skimmed through that quickly in the presentation, but the profit pool is over your head, okay? That's money that we can't understand because it's like stock ownership in a future billion-dollar brand. So, but we're growing it into that. When I first started, this was about a $20 million company. Now it's almost a $200 million company, and it's going bigger than that. But so, imagine the stock in that and where it's going. So that's what the PPP, that PP stands for. But to get to the profit participation plan, you have to peak, pass, and plug. PPP. So peaking interest, like I said, Lori, hey, how's it going? What's happening? And we had a little Facebook activity. I was catching up with her, and she told me this and that about life. But then she said, how's that little Zija thing going? Because I didn't mention it. I didn't bring it up. I was just developing a rapport, touching base with an old friend. And then she said, how's that thing going? So I had her piqued. She was piqued. I piqued her interest. I piqued her curiosity. So that pique, it's not P-E-A-K, it's P-I-Q-U-E. And I'd spell that just to remind you that Q stands for qualify. You want to qualify people for your time and their time, so you save time. So I qualified her, and I just said, awesome. I don't have a lot of time to get into it right now because the kids are setting the house on fire. I need to go in there and check them out and find out what's going on. If I just shoot you a quick 6-minute video, would you take a look at it? Great. Copy, paste, send. Seconds later, I'm still sitting there. I'm just seeing what she's doing. I'm watching, I'm stalking her on Facebook. No, I'm just playing. So, but it just, whatever you have to do, put duct tape on your mouth and don't do anything else. Peak and then pass. I passed her to a video and then plug her into expert. I didn't do that right away, but days later, right? I think I also passed her to a conference call maybe she listened to. I stopped and met with her the next couple days and passed her, because I knew her hot button was the Johns Hopkins Medical Study. Now, I usually don't offer that up front because it's long and it's product oriented, right? I don't, in this business, just the way it works, and you can choose to accept this right out of the gate and move quickly, or you can let it happen naturally to you over time. But you wanna lead with the business, or find a way to lead with. Even if somebody puts me in a product discussion, I'm gonna flip it into a get it free discussion. Does that make sense? And then they see, well, there is value to the opportunity. I get the products for free. Oh, maybe I can get a free Benz. But I want to help people not think about Moringa and Johns Hopkins Medical Study. I want to help them think about Bora Bora, right? Where we went last year on a big trip. But that's a whole story within itself. But the company or one of our upline leaders paid for that. It's the lifestyle is what you're sharing and selling. So I did all that with Lori. And I passed her a few times, and then the next couple days later, when I followed up with her, and it's rare, I don't do this with everyone, I actually had the product formulator himself on standby because I knew she would chew me up and spit me out if I tried to talk a bunch of science to her. And so when she asked her first question about what color is Moringa, I said, man, you know what, Lori, that's a great question, and I want to show you how simple this thing is and the resources that we have available. So hold on just a second. Boom, I plugged her right into Uncle Russ Bianchi, our product formulator, and he knocked it out of the park. She received it very well. She understood the process because I zipped it, I put duct tape on my mouth, right, and I muted my phone. So that is the peak pass plug. That's what drives this business, because the psychology behind this is your people are, well, first of all, it's even Jesus had to leave his hometown to start his ministry, right? So So you're not a prophet in your own hometown. We actually went over that very verse this morning in church. And so we robbed banks growing up, right? No, we didn't really do that. But we know each other from the past, so me answering all the questions is just not going to cut it. Your friends need to see that you're plugged in to a real business and some resources, and that you have partners. So I did that with her, not only to show the resources, but also to show the system. You're just demonstrating the process for your people, and that's the main thing the Peak Pass plug is for, but also for you to move quickly. You don't have to know anything to do this business. You can pique somebody's interest, pass them to a third-party tool, plug them into Expert, your first day in the business. Okay? So with that said, I'm going to let Lori just any examples or just the Peak Pass plug portion of it, of how this has worked in you building your business. And I'm going to take this space right here.
Okay, yeah, sure. So, well, I don't know if there is a better example than that one, Kevin, because that was so important in the beginning for me. Of course, you know, I ignored it for a year. So he knew that he needed to give me something more than just what he was going to say. So what I would probably tell everyone, it's just an example of myself. I did not do well in this business for the first couple months I was in it. And when I say I didn't do well, I mean, I told a few people, I had a few customers on product, and I never did the system. I wouldn't, even though Kevin showed me from the beginning the right way, right? So everybody, wait until he's done, and then y'all can know what he's talking about. You don't have to.
Right.
Because this is very important. I'm just not because it's me, but because it's a story that you'll hear all too often. I got started the wrong way. I tried to answer everybody's questions because I am an expert, right? Well, you say I'm an expert at what I do. Mm-hmm. As a nurse practitioner, I was the person all the patients came to. I was the person everybody expected to have all the answers. So when I got started with Zija, and I started doing this business, when people would come to me and ask questions, I'm like, I'm glad you asked. And I would run into 90 plus nutrients, minerals, antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, and all those essential amino acids and how that works in your body. And they would end up looking at me like I was crazy. And I had a few people who joined me as a customer, but nobody joined me as a distributor. Why? Because they thought they had to be a nurse practitioner. They thought they had to be me to do that. They thought they had to be able to answer everything. About 3 months in, after I got started, I was Builder 500. I was getting my product for free. I wasn't doing bad. I was having great results with the product. I finally did what he told me to do, and I went to an event. And I went, I listened, I paid close attention. Everyone was getting up and walking across the stage. I was sitting in my chair, and I thought, if I'm going to do this thing, I want to be up there. I don't want to be here. So I started paying attention to what they were saying. Chris Estes was on stage. I'll never forget it. He started talking about setting down goals and writing them down, and I had never done that before. All those years of studying, all the years of being pretty successful, but nobody had ever told me you need to write down your goals, you need to put a date on it, and you need to work towards that so you have a game plan. So that day I sat there. I heard that, and I heard him talk about three-way calls, which is what Kevin had been telling me all along, but I needed to hear it from somebody else, right? Right, because I was an expert, I thought. So I started doing three-way calls. I wrote down my goals that day. I still have that card. I think it's actually in my purse. And to hit gold by Halloween. And that was September 11th. So I was Builder 500. I wanted to be gold by Halloween. And I wrote that down. I started doing three-way calls. And I'm pretty sure Kevin probably remembers it. Because he's like, I can't believe I'm starting to hear from her.
Yeah.
She's putting people on the phone with me.
She's actually doing it.
Yeah. So I started putting people on the phone with him. Was able to hit gold right before Halloween, which was about 4 weeks. Now people are doing it in 1 week. 18 hours or something crazy. But then it was a big deal, okay? It was a big deal. The big deal was that I was able to go from not accomplishing what I wanted to accomplishing what I wanted by 2 specific changes: goal setting and using the system. So if you're here today and you're not exactly where you want to be, you need to ask yourself, do I have my goals written down with a time on them? Right, to hold myself accountable so that I have a game plan and strategy. But also, how many three-way calls have I done this week? How many people have I peaked each day? Am I talking to people regularly? This is not a hobby. You know, hobbies don't pay money. Hobbies are fun, right? You have a lot of fun. You have a lot of fun with Zija, but you can also have a lot of fun with Zija and make money with it. So if you treat it like a business and you have that plan each day of who you're going to talk to, how many you're going to talk to, and then really if you're piquing 2 people's interest each day, you should have 2 people to follow up with each day, right? It should be a natural progression. If I told Kevin and Pete today, I should have a follow-up call with them tomorrow night, right? And I should have 2 new people that came into me tomorrow that I'm going to follow up with on Tuesday. Does that make sense? So just my best encouragement and advice would be make sure you get a system down, you get a plan down, and you don't just go about this all haphazard, because my mistake in the beginning can be your benefit, right? Because now Kevin and I and many other people in the room are showing people how to do this quicker than we were able to do it, because we know what doesn't work. Right, you've heard that thing, the path to success is paved with failures, right? And we've seen what doesn't work a lot. So make sure you plug in and you pay attention to those things. That kind of.
Yeah, that's good. Perfect. And I'm going to have Scott share a little bit on it too. After when I get back to it, I'm going to zip through some of this. But she's right too, and she said a couple things about quickly, moving fast, sense of urgency. Think about it. Let's be honest. Everybody, if you raise your hand, if you've ever been a little bit late to work or late to whatever you do to make money, and you had to run some traffic lights or break some traffic laws, or let's be completely honest. Okay. So why wouldn't you race with a sense of urgency to build a fortune for yourself if you're going to do that to build a fortune for someone else? Because let's face it, that's what I was doing. I was working in a cubicle, slaving to make someone else rich. And that's for the birds after I realized it. Because, this is an educational process to help people understand there is something else out there that you can do to get from where you are to where you want to be. It's all about being in the right vehicle to get you there. Employment is one of those vehicles. Business, self-employment is another vehicle, but often you end up being a boss. You're your own boss. You're a slave to your own gig. So self-employment is another thing. Business ownership is what we have. So it's exactly what she said. If you treat it like a business, it pays like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, it can still pay like a hobby. But so there's different paces of growth with this. So it just depends on your pace and your speed, and any of it works. You can do a little bit, very part-time with this, and have mega success. But you're more likely, the numbers are more likely in your favor if you move quickly and take it seriously. So we can help you do that. We're looking for leaders. We want to help you rise to the top very quickly. But as you get started, as you help your people get started, simply help them grab a package. Say, hey, you heard the packages, Joe? Just get in where you fit in. Don't delay another day. We're rocking. Thousands of people are diving in this every couple of months or every 90 days, and we want you on the front end of that process or that activity. So which one you want to get started with, and just let them know. It's because they might feel pressured or feel like it's going to let you down. Let them know it doesn't matter to me. However, let's get you started, and then. Great, Joe. Let me introduce you to my sponsor. Like if it's Lori, let me introduce you to my sponsor, Kevin. He's going to give you a couple of tips, welcome you aboard, let you see the resources that you have available. And then maybe his sponsor, another leader, Jonathan McNabb, and then another, well, that's a bad example. Chris ain't answering the phone for any of us. Yeah, he does, but he doesn't have to. Just say, anyway, your sponsor, your first leader, bronze and above, and then you're a senior leader, emerald and above. And let me highlight that real quick. Lori is an emerald. Well, that's huge. That's the first senior leadership rank. That's where you're at the six-figure income level, but you're going to start venturing into multiple six-figure income level as you go into diamond and double diamond. But Chris Estes was an emerald when I met him, and that was like. That was the big rank back then. Emerald was the big one, and that's where she's at. So there's so many other ranks out there, and the super duper Godzilla Diamond Elite people don't think as much. It's a huge deal. So senior leader, your next leader, or your sponsor leader and senior leader, and just giving them access to the experts. That's modeling the system even more, and they will learn all of this. Right there in those calls, likely it will be talked about. But then just have a conversation with your new person about Peak, Pass, and Plug immediately when you enroll them. Pete, just like Pete just got Chad started, and he put Chad on the phone with me yesterday. Good job. Put him on the phone with Lori too, I believe. So he put him on the phone with multiple leaders, and then talked about, hey, Chad, as you share this with people, just keep it simple, Peak, Pass, and Plug. Does that make sense? Just make sure they have an understanding of what they can do immediately, and then they can learn the rest along the way at Zija University in their back office and Elite University at teamelite.net. But you learn all that stuff in your pajamas after the kids go to bed, right? You can dive in and do that online. But Scott, why don't you real quick, and I'll just breeze through the commit part and just open it up for any questions, and we'll kind of wrap this up to not go too long, because I know some others have some calls they want to make, at church to go to, but you take a little time if you want to on Peak Pass and Plug and what that's done for you.
Last weekend, but first I want to ask, who in here is shy? Anybody?
Little.
How many of you believe I am? I'm a naturally shy person. I learned over the last 25 years how to talk to people, but I used to go to a party at somebody's house like at Kevin's, and I'd find a couple of friends and stand over by the wall all night. But I learned that if you are not shy in a business situation, it does some good things for you. So who in here is shy? And I told you I'd give you a free Mercedes-Benz if you just start talking to more people and sharing information with them. Right? Because once we got started and they showed us how to do this, we started talking to people. And then they have this thing called Friday Night Lights, right? Because the volume week ends on Friday. And if you qualify enough Fridays in a row, you get a Benz. And during our Benz qualification month, these people were here at my house almost every Friday night. Right? Brandon and Jesse were here every Friday night. When he was in town, he was over here like, how close are you? What do we need to do? Let's make some calls. And next thing you know, my wife's driving a Benz, right? Now, we've had Benzes before, and we've had BMWs before. How many people here has ever drove one before that you didn't have to pay for? Right? My favorite car, free car. Right? So you have to get past the shy part. But I was talking to Kevin, we were texting, and I got on a plane to go to Portland, and this poor unfortunate soul had to sit by me. So I knew I was going to recruit him before the plane flight was over, right? But he was really actually more talkative than I was, and we got to know each other, switched cards. I talked about the business a little bit with him, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be cool. And right as I was getting off the plane, I turned my phone back on, and it popped up, and Kevin said, Portland, I'm going to be in Portland in 2 weeks. And I'm like, what? Oh my God, I'm walking through the airport like, I got to talk to somebody right now. They're from Portland. Somebody in here is. So I go down to the gift shop, and I walked in and started looking around, and I asked this lady a question, and she was really nice. And I said, you know what? I really appreciate you spent a lot of extra time with me today, and I really like your personality. Who here likes when someone says something nice about you? Everybody does, right? And she goes, oh, well, thank you. And I said, listen, I don't even know you, and this is weird, but I got to tell you something. She said, what's that? I said, one of my good friends is going to be visiting Portland in a couple of weeks. He's expanding his business to the Portland area. And he told me if I ran into somebody that just seemed like they were really a good person and really nice and someone he might want to work with, that I should share their information with him. She goes, really? I said, yeah, he's going to be here in 2 weeks. She goes, wow. And I said, all you got to do, I said, look, I'm married. I'm not hitting on you. If you write down your name, phone number, and email, I'll send you an email. I got to go right now. I'm in a hurry. I always touch my watch. I'm in a hurry, but I'll send you an email about the business, and then I'll make sure you get introduced to him when he gets in town. And I'm really busy for the next few days, so I will send you the email quick, but it might be a few days before I call you. She said, okay. She wrote it down. Ding. Boom. So I went and got my luggage. I went and got in the taxi, and this guy's driving the taxi. He goes, what are you going? And I said, where are you from? Africa. And I said, cha-ching. We just opened Africa, right? I mean, it's big over there right now. And I said, Africa? How long you been here? About 20 years. I said, oh my God, you're not going to believe this. My friend is coming here in 2 weeks to Portland, and he's looking to expand his business, and we've actually expanded into Africa. He goes, really? I said, oh my God, we're going to dominate Africa and Portland. Write down all your information for me. I'm going to give it to my friend. I'm in a hurry right now. But I'm going to send you a video, and it might be a few days before I call you back, but I'll promise I will introduce you to my friend when he comes to Portland. Pretty cool? He's like, oh my God, that's exciting. So I'm like, yeah, I can't talk like the South African language, but you get it. Yeah. Then I walked into the hotel, and this girl named Emily was working at the front desk, right? I'm like, hey, how you doing? Emily, yeah. She didn't have a name tag, right? So I said, what's your name? How come you don't have a name tag? She said, so I said, I'm going to call the management right now. You've been here 2 weeks. You should have a name tag. You know what? If you and I were working together, you'd have a name tag. Really? And I said, yeah, guess what? A friend of mine is coming. Guys, I'm not joking you at all. I don't tell them all about the business. Ask Fabian sometime. We were in Indianapolis one day. Girl was waiting on us at the table. I said, man, you are awesome. I love the way you handle people. She said, really? Well, thank you. I said, yeah. You know, one of my friends is getting ready to expand his business here in Indianapolis. If you want to write your information down, I'll get y'all in touch. I said, what's he do? I said, it's in health and wellness. Because I already had talked to her, and she was in health and wellness, right? And she said, really? What do you? I said, look, we're in a big hurry. I don't want to cause you no trouble here at work. You know what I mean? Write down your info, I'll send you some information. That's the peak part, right? Then I've already done the pass part, and now all I have to do, I waited a couple of days on purpose with these people so I could get back home and settle in. And now they're at home, they watched this video, I sent them Kevin's video, right? Guess what? They're gonna be getting the third P tomorrow.
So that's awesome.
Hey, let me say one thing. God's been really good to me. I meet these people. It ain't like they're making $100,000 a year. They're driving taxi cabs and working at the front desk at the hotel, right? Where are they ever going to get there if someone like him doesn't show them the road? I owe it to them to do that, right? I owe it to them. Someone
Absolutely.
grabbed me one day and pulled me up. I don't do it because I go, hey, that girl behind the desk there, she's money. She's got a big money tattoo on her forehead for me. Guys, I'm doing okay. I don't want to work where I'm at no more. I want to, fix my income and get it up there where I can quit and go do this full time. But these guys right here, they're saving people. They're pulling them up. This is freedom. I'm not joking at all. I'm dead serious about this part. I asked them about them because I want them plugged into these people right here, Lori, Kevin, Brandon, people like that, so they can pull them up. They may not make it. It's up to them once they see the info. I can't make anybody do anything. But I can at least introduce them and let them see a video of someone that's making the kind of money that everybody on this planet wants to make, and let them see that they really can do it. If they had to be a scientist to make it, they may never happen. It wouldn't happen for me because I'm too dumb to be a scientist. Sorry, but my mind don't work that way. But I can say hello to people and introduce them to somebody, pass them a video. You owe it to those people that you meet. You really do.
Absolutely.
And the gift's got a hand. And the people that he's talking about, say that cab driver or that whatever person in your life that you're encountering on a regular basis, it doesn't have to be super duper diamond money. It's $500 a month.
Yeah.
That's our goal. Help you to make, it was up here, the $200 a month to get your product for free. Don, how much weight have you lost?
274 pounds.
200. You've lost 274 pounds?
That was Egypt.
Yeah, I
He
know.
told the story in
But
there.
how much of it was Egypt?
85.
85. Man, that's a good job, Don.
That is.
But 85 of it with our product, you think it's going to be a big deal for Don to get $200 a month in his pocket?
Sure.
Yeah, because it's something that he needs. It's something that's maintenance for his body and what he's going through. So everybody's got different levels of success that's going to mean a lot to them. Don't think that you have to, every single person you talk to has got to go Diamond Elite. No, you just help everybody do a little bit. Help everybody do and it's kind of what Scott pointed out. The business is what drives the product consumption. Okay? Don wouldn't have lost 70 extra pounds with the Zija weight management system if I hadn't have been patient with Joel Eckstein at Camping World where I used to work and kind of poked and prodded him like I did with Lori. I did the same thing with Joel, and then he stumbled into his office where Vanessa walked in when she just started working there, and Joel was in there mixing his morning moringa, and Vanessa said, "What's that?" It's that simple. So yes, that free shaker bottle that comes with your builder system kit is valuable. Okay, he's shaking the drink. She says, "What's that?" "Oh, this is something you need to know about." So and so. Vanessa shared it with who? Pam. Somebody another coworker that she worked with. Pam shared it with Don. So the business, and some of those, I've approached Joel about the business, not the product. The product's a byproduct of the business sometimes. The business is a byproduct of the product sometimes. You just have to figure out that comfort zone as you share with people, or where your comfort zone is with all that, as you share it with people, just through some trial and error. So, but there's a lot of stories that you can learn about there. We can't tell all the stories all in one day, but man, it's all about getting to. You help your new people gain access to the experts, learn the basics of the business, and then commit to their first two, where they get their first paycheck, they get their first month's auto ship for free, their rank advance to builder, maybe get an applause for the first time in their life, maybe get a pat on the back, good job, awesome, Lori. So that's what some people dive into this business for, just to be to fellowship. So help them get their first two. They get their first couple of firsts, and then they you help them determine their why. Why are they going to not quit? Why are they going to see it through when several people tell them they're crazy or tell them no or tell them not yet? Help them determine why they're going to do this. And then after that, just help them plug into the system, because here's the magic. Let's go with another color. If you help those two people plug into the system, then guess what? A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, those two, and then that just turned into 4. If y'all haven't Google or YouTube the compounding pennies theory, and then see these numbers come to life and what that can mean for you. And I don't think I have to keep going, but you see the point? ABC 1, 2, 3, ABC 1, 2, 3, ABC 1, 2, 3. Sure, what we do, guys, it's kind of mundane, redundant, what some people will call boring. But when you do it at the hockey game, like I have watching my son rock at he's learning all these hockey and stuff, so I'm over there on the sidelines on a call. I'm like, hey, I gotta go. Run over there talking to, okay, I can get back on the phone with them. So you can do this thing in the middle of daily life, in traffic, at the grocery store, at the football game, on the move, and that's where all this is happening. It's not like you're sitting in your cubicle, sitting in your office, just glued to a desk. So, guys, I want you to get excited about something that's really simple. Does this sound simple?
Yes.
Yep.
It's not complicated. It's not, I promise you. If it's complicated or it seems complicating to you, question the person who you're talking to and get plugged into someone who knows something and gain access to a plugged in upline leader. That's what it takes to build this business. You want to know, and networkers. I heard someone talking about another networker from another company. Networkers are looking right now. There's some other companies that are very popular right now. I'm not going to mention any names, Vima, but there's some other companies that are having some issues right now, and their people could soon be looking for something. And when those type of people move, they move big. So if you know one person, that could mean 15,000 people. So that's where you want to keep your eyes and ears open on Facebook. See if people, Joey Burks, when I first met Joey, he was in another network marketing company, just dabbling, but at least his mind was open to it. So it was easy to carry him through the process, and if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't have my friend Pete and Melody and so, because that's where that whole genealogy came from, with Joey Burks. So just keep your eyes and ears open for networkers, keep it simple. Any questions?
I have a comment.
Okay.
The mundane effect you was talking about, when you get to share this product with people and help them with it and change their lives, and you can see what you've done just by showing them something, it makes it fun, and then it's no longer mundane.
Right.
Okay, because now it's
That's
fun.
right, yeah.
And to add what Scott was talking about, the money's great, but the money's just a magnifier. You know, if it's a great person, then it makes them greater or better or whatever, and if it's a bad person, it's going to magnify that too. So don't let the money effect hold anything back of what you would say to somebody or do, you know. So that's all I got.
No, he's right. The money is just it's going to amplify who you are, and if you're doing good things. I mean, I've been able to do, with our time freedom, we've been able to do more things that we'd never be able to do. This business is a ministry to us. This business is it's a lifestyle. You know, once you get the need for a dirty green piece of paper out of the way, where it just comes naturally to you and some of your friends and some of your family, then it helps you think clear, and options are open to say yes. Man, I got a story I could tell.
Yeah.
I
Like
want
the
to
house-
tear
like
up
the
right
house
now
that
just
burned.
thinking about this. Yeah,
it's
I
more
can't
like,
even.
I mean, my
I can't.
cousin, she says to me all the time, she's like, well, I don't, like, all you ever think about is money. I said, no, all you ever think about money, because you're thinking about your bills all the time. So whether there's a lack of or an abundance of, money is thought of. It's how you put a spin on it, whether it's a positive or a negative. And I don't believe that anything that you think negatively of will ever come to you in abundance. So you have to think positive about it, think good things about it, because we need more good people with money in this world.
That's right.
The dress code is pretty nice too. I used to work
But thank
somewhere
you,
where I had to wear a suit every day.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Sometimes 7 days a week I had to have a suit and tie on. And now I can walk around in jeans and my Rhino shirt and talk to people.
Yeah, I didn't plan on. Yeah. I don't think this might be the first time I've been in shorts training, but awesome. Any other questions?
Anybody got any questions about prospecting? Any new people got any questions?
Yeah,
Anything?
a lot of new guys, I
Will you
believe.
guys hang around for a few minutes after in case somebody has one they just don't want to
Sure.
say in front of everybody?
Yeah.
Good job, Kevin.
All right.
The other thing I was gonna mention, I did wanna say this, cause that's mine. Mine's the Aquafina. Because we said that thing about, he told me for a year off and on, and we told Joey for a while, all those things. But I think a lot of times people think if you tell someone, oh, I called so-and-so and they're not interested. The typical exposure time is 4 to 6. You have to touch somebody 4 to 6 times before they enroll. And that's typical. So you're not doing anything wrong. So don't get discouraged or down. Just put them on that. Touch back in 30 days list. So maybe they need a video. Maybe they need to listen to a call. Maybe they need to hear somebody else's story. They may need 4 or 5. So
Lori,
just
wouldn't
don't-
you say that usually when you touch back with them in 30 days, they bring it up before you do?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to call them and say, hey, I'm calling you.
Get permission. That's the other thing I'll tell you. If you want to take the guilt out of this, I'm a woman. What's the one thing we're best at? Feeling guilty. Yeah, we feel guilty. Well, honestly, we're guilty about not doing enough, guilty about doing too much, whichever. But ask permission to tell people things. Not like weakling. All right, now, please can I tell you about Zija? But say, hey, I understand that right now this timing's not good for you, but is it okay for you if in 30 days from now I reach back out and just let you know how good I'm doing, because I'm in this to win this and I'm not going anywhere. And I've never had anybody say, no, don't tell me how good you're doing. They probably don't want to hear it now, but I have, they always, so if you ask permission, then you don't feel guilty about bugging them, right?
And if they're kind of saying no right there, for you to even say that, if they're saying no, they're just saying not yet.
Yep.
And if you ask that, then you can set the reminder in your phone. This is all about just filling your funnel. If you have a funnel, you're filling your funnel so full that you've always got somebody rolling through the business end of that funnel. Because somebody's going to be ready as long as you just tap the funnel every now and then.
And
But
I
even
think
if
a lot-
they say no, when you call them back, they still ask you, how you
Yeah.
doing in that Zija?
Yeah, because they think you're going to say, oh, I'm
Yeah.
not doing that anymore.
I
They're
quit.
wanting to get one up on you.
I tell them that
So don't
sometimes,
quit, so you're
I say I
not-
quit, then I go, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Hey, Brandon.